First of all, on our 6 steps to longevity is optimism. We see a sense of optimism in these long-lived, healthy lives. And it's not that they're optimistic because they live to be 100. They probably live to 100 to a degree because they've been optimistic. How many of you would agree with me that there's people out there who are pretty much dyed-in-the-wool pessimists? Do you know these people, pessimists? And let me ask you, why did you marry them? Why did you do that? That doesn't make any sense. People who study this kind of thing tell us that once you're set, either as an optimist or a pessimist, you're pretty well set for life unless you purpose to change that, and only you are the one that can change it. Hey, bad things happen to everybody. We all have challenges. But would you agree with me, though? It's not what happens to you, but it's your response to what happens to you that really defines the journey of your life. Yes? Number 2 on our list is something called engagement. And that, in Japan, ikigai, means a passion for living, a reason to get up in the morning. Let me talk to the men for just a minute. Because men, at least in Western society, we often are our jobs. Would you agree with that? We get our identity by what we do. When 2 men get together, we say, hey, what do you do for a living? We figure each other out that way. Now, women can have careers, of course, but women also get their identities from relationships. You're somebody's mom. You're somebody's sister. You're somebody's wife or daughter. So a woman is not so tied to her career as a man is. Men, retirement is a dangerous time for you because now you don't know why you get up in the morning. Now you don't know who you are anymore. So it's important to have something you're passionate about separate from what you've been doing up to this point. By the way, it doesn't have to be something socially significant. It just has to be important to you. People who live in nursing homes do better if they have a plant or a little pet to take care of. Isn't that something? But that's how it works. Let me say this. Hobbies would be a total useless waste of your time if it wasn't for the fact that they're probably so good for your health. Number 3 on our list is activity and mobility. And if you're taking notes, your goal is about 150 minutes a week of moderate activity, such as a brisk walk, or 75 minutes per week of a more intense exercise, like using a treadmill or a stationary bicycle. That's per week, not per day. You all have 75 minutes per week, don't you? That's the place you need to be, or more, if you choose to do so. But most people have a long way to go when it comes to that. Listen to this. 1 out of 4 women that breaks a hip is dead within 12 months. 1 out of 3 men that breaks a hip is dead within 12 months because of the complications that set in when you can no longer be physically active anymore. One of the ways you can avoid breaking a hip is to stay active and stay mobile. It's one of the best things you can do to assure that you're not going to die before your time. Number 4 is something we call adaptation to loss. If you live to be 100, you lose people you care about. Spouses, siblings, friends, family. How many of you know people who are still mourning the loss of a loved one, and it's been 20 years now? Anybody know stories like that? Let me ask you, what good does that do the departed person? None. Would you agree that if they could come back, they'd say thanks, but enough already. Get on with your life. These folks who live to 100 and 100 healthy years have the ability to mourn appropriately, but then they bounce back and they get on with their life. That seems to be a part of the success formula as well, adaptation to loss. Next on our list, number 5, is social connectedness. That is being part of the bigger community. It turns out that people really do need people after all. There's no Lone Rangers out there when it comes to being a long-lived, healthy human. In fact, one study found that not having a close personal friend or confidant is just as dangerous to your health as if you were a smoker. Isn't that amazing? Not having a close personal friend or confidant gives you the same risk to your long-term health as if you are a smoker. So what that means is if you must have a cigarette, do it with a friend.